Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about the Rotten Tomato rankings of all the DCEU films. I have done my own rankings in the past, and I was curious at what are the rankings with the DCEU movies, because I haven't been looking at that for a while, and usually I keep up to date with it, and maybe I did last time when Birds of Prey came out earlier this year. But I thought to myself, why not share it with people who might be wondering that as well? Like, how are the rankings there from worst to best on Rotten Tomatoes? Now, I know a lot of people don't really care about critic ratings. I sometimes do, and I like audience ratings as well. And I have both of them here, but I'm going to put them in the order of uh, worst to best for the critic ratings. Mostly because sometimes the audience ratings do line up with um, how critics, more or less, how critics think of it. With the DC movies, maybe not so much, but more or less, usually critics and audiences are similar to how they feel, especially when it comes to rankings. Actually, in this list, I learned that only two movies switch places, and I'll get to them uh, when I get to them. So let us begin. First, let's start off with Wonder Woman 1984 because I'm not really counting this one on this ranking because the reviews are still coming in. Right now, it has a total of 80 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, critic reviews, with a 7.3 average rating out of 10, leading it to a putting it up to an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's actually doing pretty well, very well so far. So it's been hanging out. I think last time I checked before this was it was at 86%. Apparently when it started it was at like 93% or something like that. So it's been clearly that's where it's gonna stick around through to the up higher 80s, lower 90s. So that's really great to know. I'm glad. I've been reading a couple of reviews and hearing a couple of reviews saying that yes, this movie is lives up to the first one. In some places, it even fixes what the first one did wrong for a lot of people, which was apparently the third act, which I actually enjoyed quite a lot. So, judging from these reviews, I think I'm gonna really love this movie a lot. So I can't wait. Christmas can't get here fast enough. So let's get right into this. This is worst to best. So what is the worst DCEU movie? This is actually my least favorite of the bunch. Suicide Squad with a 27%. That is a 4.9 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's what the average score most critics gave it. And a 59% rating from the audience rating. So lowest that actually is the only rotten score from the audience perspective. The rest of them are all either fresh or highly fresh. So, yeah, you know what? I can't blame critics for not liking that one. Even when I rewatch it, I do see a lot of the negative things more. I still enjoy it though. I wouldn't say 27% is fair, but I can see why it got that low of a rating. I can see why a lot of uh, critics gave it that 4.9 out of 10. So yeah, let's continue. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice gets a 28% with a 5 out of 10 rating. 62% from the audience score though. So that's considered fresh for the audience score. But yeah, 28% on Batman v Superman from the critics. That one I don't think is very fair. I really like Batman v Superman a lot more than a couple of other movies that are on this list that I'll be mentioning very soon. Two in particular. Yeah, it sucks. I see why that film was very divided though. I think Zack Snyder has a style that um, certain people like, but others do not. I'm glad the war on that movie has calmed down since we've gotten other DC movies that have made fans happy. But for the most part, yeah, Batman v Superman, I don't think deserve that kind of a score at all. Not even close. Let us continue with Justice League at 40% on the critic rating. Now, I'm pretty sure it used to be higher before, but okay, 40% with a 5.3 rating. 71% from the audience rating, which I thought was interesting because I thought a lot of people hated Justice League, but I guess that's just the Snyder, the hardcore Snyder fans. Um, yeah, because I would put Batman v Superman over Justice League. I think it's a fine movie. But I do think Batman v Superman, both the theatrical cut and the director's cut, were 10 times better. So, moving on. Man of Steel is at number 5 with 56%. That's a 6.2 rating. So that's almost, I guess it's 56% is considered rotten with a 75% score from audiences. So once again, Man of Steel seems to be divided. More audiences, the audience score seems to indicate that most people liked it more than the critics. Critics were very divided on Man of Steel. Yeah, that's definitely one I agree with the audience on because I really loved Man of Steel. I think it's my favorite DCEU movie by far. And I think yeah, I think I've seen a lot more love for it in recent years. So I'm hoping that means it's aging well for most people. I know it still has its critics out there. I've seen some. Not everybody loves it, but it is a darker tone, which is something I guess different for Superman fans to get used to. Most people are very used to Superman with the more optimistic tone, and I like the Christopher Reeve and Smallville versions too, as well as the Supergirl version. I like Tyler Hoechlin as Superman as well. I liked the spin that they were going with for Man of Steel. I didn't mind the darker aspect and the dreary tone and Superman killing, like the way they played it out justified, I think, what Superman needed to do. So moving on, Aquaman has a 65% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a 6 out of 10, which is interesting because Man of Steel got 6.2 out of 10, so it got a higher critic rating on that part, but I guess most critics gave it a negative review. I guess 6 is like an average, so either a negative average or a positive average. I guess that's why Man of Steel got a lower critic rating. Also, this is interesting to note. The audience rating for Aquaman is 74%. Those are the two that switch for the audience rating. Man of Steel would actually be above Aquaman with the audience rating. But with the critic rating, Aquaman is at number 4 and Man of Steel is at number 5. At number 3, it's Birds of Prey with a 78% critic rating with a 6.7 out of 10 score. And on the audience score, it's 78%. So audiences and critics seem to agree. Like the score there is the only one that's actually on point with one another. Most people seem to enjoy it. So that's the people that's seen it anyways, because I know it didn't do that great in theaters. I hope people got to see it now that it's been on video on demand for some time now. So there's no excuse anymore. If you haven't seen it, that's a movie I'd recommend. I thought it was loads better than Suicide Squad, so I wouldn't say it's better than Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, but I'd say, yeah, maybe around Batman v Superman for me. Moving on, at number 2, Shazam. That's right, Shazam is at number 2 with a 90% critic rating. That's a 7.3 out of 10. An 82% rating from the audience score, so that's really good. Obviously, people really love this movie. I really love this movie. I would put it in my top 3 DCEU movies. Because guess what's at number one? I think everybody should know this one by now because I didn't say it yet. Wonder Woman. The original Wonder Woman has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a 7.7 out of 10. That's an 85% audience rating, so that's really cool. Audiences obviously consider Wonder Woman to be the best of the DCEU. Most audiences, anyways, and most critics obviously think it's one of the best. And it looks like Wonder Woman 1984. It's around that area with so far with Shazam and Wonder Woman, the first film. So, man, the future is bright for DCEU. They might have stumbled in the beginning with Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, and Man of Steel for most people, but it looks like after the first Wonder Woman movie, they started slowly picking themselves up. Even Aquaman, not a lot of people hated it. Their audience rating was pretty decent too. So it's nice knowing that DC is getting up there, especially with the Wonder Woman and Shazam. And I'll say Birds of Prey too. So Birds of Prey has pretty good 78% from both critics and audiences. That's a good score in my books. So with that being said, I hope you guys leave down your comments below. Tell me your thoughts on all of these movies. Did you check out Birds of Prey yet? I don't know. Go check out my review if you want an opinion on it. And I'll leave my two other videos of my rankings of the DCEU or the DC movies in general, because I did a whole video of all the DC movies. So you can check out my rankings on all of them. And I'll put down another video. I don't know what yet. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And talk among yourselves as well. Let's create a community here. I want people, my subscribers, to be in contact not just with me but with each other as well. I think it would be cool if we started something and creating something cool. So with that being said, until next time, everybody, take care.